guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, my Facebook, or my LinkedIn, or wherever you're watching this. And today I'm going to be talking about how to find your skill or your niche when you're trying to work from home. Now, I get this question a lot, especially for those who have never tried working from home before. And today I'm going to break down how do you actually find out what skill that you want to focus on when you're starting to work online, and how do you find the niche or the people that you want to work for, or what to focus on when you're trying to market yourself. Now, this is actually the second video in the work from home series, so make sure to check out the first one, but you don't have to watch that one to understand this. Now, if you are someone who already found their skill, you know what to do, you already been working from home a while, so you know what skill it is, then you can skip to this time stamp right here. And I'm going to start talking about the niche. Now, when it comes to skill, it can be easily narrowed down to, and it depends on two things. So it depends on if you've worked before, if you've had a job before, or you're just starting out. Now, if you've had a job before, the easiest way to find out what skill to, start working when you're trying to work online is to just look at your resume. What was your recent job? What was the recent skill that you learned in that job? Or which parts of that job did you actually like doing? Now, it's really important that you actually like what you're doing, because then it's easier for you to develop yourself that skill. It's easier for you to be disciplined because you don't have someone looking over your shoulder making sure that you're doing your job right. So it really needs to be that you like what you're doing. Now, if let's say there's nothing in your resume that you like or you like doing, or your last job it just sucked really bad, then you go and kind of into the second category where you've actually never worked at all. You're a fresh graduate, you are someone who is going to school still, so you still trying to figure out what you want to do. So to figure out that, you look at the things again, things that you actually like doing. What is currently something that is just automatic for you, or something that it's easier for you than most people. So for example, for me, when I was trying to figure out how what skill that I wanted to bring forth when I was trying to get jobs or working from home, it was easily writing, because it was something that just came to me. It was something that I was already interested in. I loved reading books. I loved learning how authors, wrote their own books. So that was really easy for me. What is something that's kind of easy for you? What's something that interests you? If you were in school, if you're still in school, what is something that you would enter competitions for? Would it be drawing? Would it be writing? Would it be programming, if that's something that you're actually interested in? Or what is something that if your teacher said, class, what do you want me to teach you today? And you said that, you said, ma'am, I want to learn how to manage my budget. I want to learn, and then you can be more of a finance person. Or it could be learn how to be maybe a bookkeeper. What is a skill, or what is something that you're already kind of interested in? And if you still have no idea, if we've been trying it out, if you still have no idea on what skill you want to bring to the table, or let's say in your, like for example, in your old job, your job was to help people manage people. What if your job was to help manage projects? Then you're a project manager when you start working online. And the thing that you have to keep in mind is whether it's online or a physical business, it's probably going to have the same job positions that people will need. So keep that in mind of like, is the skill that I've had, or is a skill that I already kind of know about, something that's transferable? Because even if it's something that you didn't like to do, it's kind of a little bit counterintuitive with what I just said. Even if it's something you don't like to do, at least you can get started. Because the thing with skills, when you're trying to work from home or trying to work online, is it's a little bit more flexible. You can jump from or learn from different skills already, because you're already kind of in that arena. So if you starting out with project management and you kind of hate actually project management, but you're kind of a little bit good at it, then that's where you start. Because then later on, you'll be introduced to other things that people are able to do online. And then you'll be able to, shift, you'll be able to pivot, or you'll be able to experiment, mixing maybe project management with content creation. It differs with different people of what it is that they're interested in, and what is something that they're actually good at that don't kind of like, and then later on finding something that you do like, because you're not locked in when you're trying to work from home. You are someone who is responsible for your own training, for your own skill building, for your own self-development when you're working from home. So you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to find out your skill. Now, if you already have your skill, then you are going to try to find your niche. Now, your niche, what I mean with niche is who are you going to be working for? That's something that confuses a lot of people. Like if you've already narrowed down that you want to be a writer, like for me, when I narrowed down that I wanted to be a writer, I was like, okay, so what kind of articles can I write? What kind of, who do I contact as a client? Who can I reach out to have this for the long term? Now, again, it goes back to what is it that you are currently already interested in. That's the easiest way or the easiest place to start when you're trying to find your niche, when you're trying to work from home or you work online. So the easiest way that I could give this and break this down to you on how to find your niche is imagine just kind of a funnel that you're trying to really narrow down, because that's the best way that you can actually start working. It's also the best way that you can start experimenting, because it's already a place that you're comfortable in. So the first question is going to be, what is it you currently like? So let's say you like podcasts, you like listening to podcasts in your spare time, you like when you're out and about doing groceries or whatever it is that you like doing. It's listening to podcasts. Let's say that that's what it is, because when you're trying to figure out what it is that you like, if you kind of have no idea, you look at what you spend your time the most. What look at your YouTube videos. What is your history there? What is the thing that you usually search for? You look at your Instagram, your Facebook. Who are the people you've liked and followed? Because then that gives you a pretty good idea of what it is that you like or what you can get into. Because then you can break it down. So for example, for the podcast. So you break it down to, okay, you like podcasts, what industry could they be in? So the industry for podcasts is usually called just entertainment. But with that, you have to, again, you have to keep breaking it down until you have actually something that you can hold on and grasp. By the way, if you're trying to find out what the industry is, you can easily find that out by looking at the categories or the hashtags or the tags that they're using for their videos or for their podcasts or for the articles, if that's something that you like to do. So that's how you narrow it down. And then the niche is just what is something that they talk about a lot. So you have the entertainment industry. What is their niche? So you look at the podcast that you listen to. Let's say you're more into business niche, like you love listening to people who talk about business, to people who share the stories of how they failed and succeeded in life. So if it's business, it's business. So that's your niche. Now that you have a little bit of your niche, which is perfect, the next place to start is then, what do they have to do to get to that point, to create that product that you love to consume? And I say let's stick to the business podcast example, because then it's just a little bit more perfect. I call this niche hacking, something that I totally just came up with, but something that makes a lot of sense when I'm teaching this to a lot of people. So niche hacking is basically figuring out what is something that what are the things, what are the to-do lists, what are the checklists that these people have to do to be able to produce the content or the thing that you love watching, listening to, or reading. So let's say with the business podcast, they have to find the hosts. If not, if you want to a little bit go further, they have to create the podcast and put it up on iTunes, on Spotify, and different places. So there's that. They have to figure out like their own branding. They have to figure out their the core message that they're trying to figure out. They're trying to get people who would come in and be interviewed, or they're trying to figure out the planning out their content, and then they're going to be recording and they're going to be editing that recording and then they're going to be creating the marketing materials for that, and then finally they're going to push it out into the world that are marketed and send it to their lists. Now that with all of that planned out, which part of that process are you interested in? That's kind of, again, it always goes back to what it is that you're interested in and what you actually already like, because it's so much easier to work in a place where you are already interested in, or there's something you already kind of like, because then it fuels your curiosity, it fuels the want to keep working, it fuels the discipline a little bit and the mindset that you do want to do a good job for this person, because this is something that you like to do. So within the 8-step plan that I just lined out of what a podcaster has to do to produce a podcast, which part of that is something that you actually want to do? So let's say on the skill, you've narrowed down that you actually really like video editing. Let's say that's the skill that you chose. Now with a podcast, the easiest way that you can insert yourself there is just editing the recording or making their recording better. So that's where you can start marketing yourself. Then once you have those, then you kind of already kind of get started just right off the bat. So if you have already chosen the niche, then it's perfect before you even chose your skill. But those two and two go together. It's easier for you to find your employers and actually apply. In the next video, I will be talking about how to brand yourself as a freelancer or as someone who works from home. Now, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right there. You can check out my Facebook and my LinkedIn to make sure that you see that video next week. So again, when it comes to finding your skill or your niche when you're trying to work from home, it really goes down to what is something that you're interested in right now. Don't go into something that makes a lot of money because a lot of people says that, oh, just should try this right off the bat because if you want to make just a lot of money. You can do that, but it's not good for the long run. It doesn't give you a lot of growth. It doesn't give you a lot of interest. And sooner or later, you're just kind of fade off and not really have the self-discipline to keep going because it wasn't something that you're interested in the first place. So try to figure out, I created actually a really mini workbook for you guys right here to kind of narrow down, to actually keep having you find out what it is that you actually want to do when you're trying to work from home. And this also applies a lot, funny enough, this also a lot applies when you're trying to start a business, when you're trying to start your own content, your own blog, your own YouTube channel, because it is a lot of what is something that you're interested in, what is something that the people that you're already following, the things that you already like right now, what is something that you can do for yourself, and what is something that you could make money out of from that. So that this topic is very applicable to a lot of different things in life. If you guys have any questions or any additional things, make sure to just leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to go through them. I answer every comment that I see, and make sure to hit that subscribe button right there, or if you're on my Facebook, hit the like button right there to make sure that you guys get my content every week. And I post every Sunday. I always post about working from home, being a digital nomad, or how to create content. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and remember that small steps matters. I'll see you guys in the next video.